really good performance for us tonight. I thought we played easily our most complete game. Thought we sustained our effort and our execution for the vast majority of the game. And got a great result against a really good basketball team.
Yesterday we talked about them being top 10 offensive rebounding and your opportunity that may be there for getting out in transition. I'm curious how much of an emphasis that was, considering you guys won 29-3 on fast break points.
Yeah, I thought we did a nice job with the conversion. You know, that was something that we talked about when we got the basketball. Really both ways, it's important. And we feel like we have guys who can run, we have a deep team. Like we just talked about, like when the ball changes hands either direction, like it's a race. Everybody's on the glass and now it's a race, and let's win the race. I thought we threw it ahead a few times, we were able to get it off the dribble a couple times. I thought that was important. I thought our guys did a great job.
Now the give and take there is that they did have 18 offensive rebounds. Were you guys leaking sometimes a little too early, or do you feel you did okay against them on the boards?
I mean, 18 is a big number, so we're not going to be satisfied with that. I didn't think we leaked. I thought we stayed and tried to get the basketball first. I thought for a big part of the game, we did a better job than that 18 number kind of represents. And they got a few into first half, and then they got a few like late second half as the game went on, and you know they took some long ones and beat us to some loose balls and things like that. But for the most part, I thought we were physical on the glass, and for really important stretches, we did a pretty good job.
I know you said you never even thought about it. It was no consideration to you to sort of limit Chris's minutes. But I did write about it and asked you about it the other day, so I did want to ask you, when you saw those 2 threes go down, did it mean anything more to you?
I mean, it was important for us and for him to make shots early in the game. You know, it was a big, he had a couple big ones, but like, you know, our confidence in Chris couldn't be higher. He's a really good basketball player. He affects winning, you know. So he knows that we want him to shoot the ball when he's open. He knows how to play. We have a lot of confidence and trust in him.
A few weeks ago, you said something along the lines of when your offense is, flowing the way that you want it to, Jake Hall is going to get, a lot of looks and stuff like that. Tonight, pretty quiet night for him in the box score, but like you said, it was arguably, your best offensive performance of the season. Can you just talk about the ability to find other looks when it was a quiet night for Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just speaks to the depth of our basketball team, and obviously Jake's been playing great for us, and had some looks that didn't go tonight that I think, I'm sure he feels like he should have made, and but he thinks he should make every shot, so it really doesn't matter what they look like. He thinks they're going in. So I mean, he knows we wanted to just keep shooting it. But yeah, it was big. I thought Uriah hit some big shots. Chol made a couple timely ones in response to some shot making from them. So we think we have a good shooting basketball team, and I thought a lot of that came from good decision making at the end of drives. Dayton specifically had a great start to the game with his decision making, and you don't get them all paid off, but you have to just continue to do it. Can't get bored with making the right play, and I thought we did a nice job of that too.
So big runs are going to happen, almost every game. But specifically that run to start the second half when the crowd is as raucous as it is. What's kind of going through your mind as moments like that are happening? Like what are you doing?
Well, I just want us to kind of not get caught up in it, honestly, and just focus on winning the next possession. But I thought our response to their run to start the second half was probably the most important sequence. I was about to call timeout. We found Thomas Law for a dunk, a couple turnovers, and we went from 1 right back to 9 or 10. I don't know what it was, but I thought that was really important. And I think that's something that we've seen from this group, throughout, right? Whether it's being behind in a game where we're not playing well and coming back, or I feel like we've had pretty good poise, and our response to adversity has been good. So we saw that tonight. It was big for us, and something we got to keep doing going forward, because it won't be the last time we need to respond.
Coach Hammond for them got hot at the end of the first half. He had 16 first half points, and then in the second half, you guys held him to 6. Really crowded him in the paint. Can you just talk about the defense you played on him in the second half?
Yeah, we missed some execution in a couple ball screen coverages, and he made shots. He's a really good player. One of them was 4 on 5, and he got one. But yeah, we did a nice job in the second half of not letting him kind of build on the start that he had, and we tried to keep keep specific matchups on there. I thought Luke and Chris specifically did nice jobs there. I mean, a lot of people, because we were switching sub, but you know, good players are going to score. You just got to make it difficult for them. And I thought early in the game, outside of one period, kind of late first half, I thought we did a pretty good job making it hard for them.
You got the big man Oboye in foul trouble early, and I mean, you guys outscored him 50-28 in the paint. A lot of that is the fast break, but you guys just attacked the paint really well. Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, they put a lot of pressure on the basketball, and you know, our approach to that is to be aggressive. You know, we feel like Dayton and Uriah specifically, but even Luke and Chris are hard guys to guard. You know, 80+ feet from the basket, and so we wanted to put pressure on the rim, you know, right away, and not like sit back and allow them to disrupt and pressure us. And you know, I think the first possession of the game, Dayton raced it down there and sprayed it to Jake for a wide open three, and you know, that was a lot of what we wanted to do and talked about. So I thought our guys did a nice job in the execution.
Coach, you called on the Lobo fans to come out this past game after the Highlands game. Thoughts on the turnout? Thoughts on the impact they had on the game?
It was awesome. You know, this is a really fun place to play good basketball, and our guys did that, and the crowd was awesome. Specifically, the student section was great tonight. That was by far the most students that we've had. Obviously, this is a building that doesn't, you know, depend on students in terms of the crowd the way some people do, but they do make a big difference for us. So it was cool to see them here. And yeah, I thought it was big for us. Like every time we made a run, you could feel it. Forced them to call a timeout. Our response in the second half, you know, that was a pretty loud moment. So our guys fed off it, and you know, crowd plays a big part here. We love playing here.
Counting the exhibition games, you're 11 games into this thing. At where you are right now, is this kind of where you thought you'd be? Because I think in some ways the jury's still out in this team, but look, it does look like this team's coming together. Is this where you thought this team would be?
I mean, I think we're getting better, you know, which is what we really focus on. So we feel like we've seen good basketball. We just haven't been as consistent. I thought tonight was, as I mentioned, one of our most complete performance. And when we're dialed and we don't have self-inflicted wounds and we execute, I think we have a good basketball team, and I think we have a team that's going to continue to improve.
Cross-country road trip coming up too with, you know, I know you played a couple games in Kansas City, but this is probably the stiffest road test of the season for you so far. Just talk about VCU and your expectations going into that.
I know they're a great program. We're excited to compete in that type of atmosphere. I don't know a lot about VCU specifically. I haven't watched much of them, but we'll get to that real soon. So yeah, we're excited to compete and just try and build on tonight's performance.
Coach, did you anticipate beating them by 27 points? I mean, this is a great team you played. Also, JT Rock's performance tonight.
Yeah, no, I did not anticipate that. They're a really good basketball team, and you know, we felt like it was going to be a battle, which it was for most of the game. We obviously separated at the end, but JT was great. You know, 4 offensive rebounds, 11 points, didn't miss, no turnovers for him. Like that's huge for us. You know, I mean, he and Tomislav combined for 27 and 16 out of that spot, you know, in those minutes. So really important for us, and yeah, he gave us great minutes.
Getting Tomislav back, obviously you said there were no restrictions. I know it wasn't a surprise that he was going to play tonight, but he draws 6 fouls in the first half. I think he drew 4 fouls in the first 4 minutes. His ability to draw fouls, is that something you knew you were getting when he came here?
I mean, he's a physical player, so yeah. I mean, it's not, and we felt like, and still feel like he can put it on the floor, right? So he's a difficult matchup for some bigger guys that way. So I think he's continuing to get better at when and where to attack, finding space, avoiding traffic, and when he's in space, he's very good.
And then you mentioned him a couple times in other answers, but Dayton's line tonight, 22.6 assists, 3 steals in the block, 9 to 12 shooting, and he hasn't done a stat line like that all year. And he finished at the rim quite a bit. Was this the best game you've seen out of Dayton, and why was tonight such a good night for him?
Yeah, I think that's the best performance we've seen from Dayton, and you know, we feel like that's what he's capable of. You know, he's a guy who really puts a lot of pressure on the rim. We knew they were gonna extend their defense, so, you know, it's not always gonna be, it's not like we can just go out and say like, hey, let's just, Dayton just keep driving in there, you know, like he's always gonna do that, but, we'll have to adjust to opponents and schemes and things like that to make sure we're getting quality play from him, but, you know, we know that he can do that, and we felt like the matchup allowed him to play to his strengths, and he showed that tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.